Well, hello to everybody in our amazing community. It's Teresa Sanderson, and I'm super excited to come to you again today with another episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. Our guest today is Shanna Robert, who is a legal nurse consultant and founder of the Legal Nurse Network. So, Shanna, we're super excited to have you joining us today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So wonderful. Yeah, this is just fantastic. So Shawna is an RN who lives in Missouri in the Lake of the Ozarks area. She's been a legal nurse consultant for the most of her career, and her main focus in going into business was actually wanting to be available and present for her three girls as they were growing up. She was tired of parenting from the nursing break room and working overnights. We all know the impact that can have on family life and not being awake even when she was awake. So the legal nurse consultant role literally just afforded her the ability to advance her career and still be available for her family. So that's like having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing.
Yay, you. Well, this is so exciting, and I'm so glad that you could join me today. So I'm going to let you just kind of get started, Shawna, by telling us a little bit about you and what your business is all about. Go ahead and go for it.
Okay. So hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm so excited, Teresa, that you had me on today. I love owning my own business and really gave me the family time that I needed. But I can tell you, my drive really came from, as Teresa said, working and parenting from the break room. And I thought I went to nursing school late. So I had already had my children by then, went to business school previous to that. But of course, working rural, didn't have the financial stability I needed after I came out with a master's. So went back to nursing school for the solid income, year-round income, because my his business is boat mechanics, so good in the summer, bad in the winter. And I very much thought, nursing is something I can do, but I caught on really quick to all of the mamas who were in the break room trying to help with homework and, finding out where their teenagers were. And at that point, it didn't seem to affect me so much because I thought that's not going to be me. I'm going to set it up different, until I reached the point when it was me, and I was very much trying to do homework from the break room. I thought, that this isn't going to work. I only have these little people for so long, and I want to be there for them and be available to them, not just be at home, but be able to do all the things that comes with that. So I quickly transitioned into legal nursing at that point, which did afford me the flexibility to stay at home. And that was only about a year after I was out of school.
Wow.
So, most people will say you have to have so much experience, but that, we jumped right in. Here we go.
Okay.
And that lasted, I live in Missouri, but I worked for a firm in Houston.
Okay.
And then that lasted about 4 years and they outsourced. So at that point, I went to Nicaragua, trained the physicians there, but I knew my job here was coming to an end.
Okay.
So at that point, I switched, I don't want to say fields, but like mini fields in the legal nursing world, and went from mass tort to personal injury and got a job with a firm in St. Louis. And it was such a struggle for me to try to get the experience that I needed, because it's this endless cycle of you don't want to get hired unless you have experience, but you can't get experience until you get hired.
Right.
So that's why we created the Legal Nurse Network.
I love that. Awesome. So what is the Legal Nurse Network then?
So the Legal Nurse Network has 3 different parts. It's a place where nurses can come together to further their training. If they want to learn a different field of legal nurse consulting, they can develop current skills that they already have, report writing, and then they can connect with other legal nurses. Okay. So it's like, working remote and working from home can be lonely sometimes. You get very secluded. And just to have that interaction that we as nurses love, we're here to help people, right? Like when you sit in an office all day, you're like, oh, I miss my people. So it's a safe place for them to go. And we monitor all posts that come through to make sure, the information is legitimate and nobody's getting false information, and just a community of nurses.
I love that. I love that. Yay, you. So what a switch. What a switch. So tell us a little bit about, I mean, you've mentioned your life working as an RN before you started your business. You found yourself in that spot that you thought you would never be in, parenting from your break room.
Yeah.
and all of those things. And I think we've all felt that sense of just being torn. I want to work, and there's a big piece of I need to work, right? Just for the financial piece of things. But then there's also that massive trade-off of, I commit to this and I have to say no to so many other really important things, right? And I don't think there's anything in nursing school, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, but I don't think there's anything in nursing school that ever can prepare us for what that feels like, right?
Yeah. Have you ever read Shonda Rhimes' Year of Yes?
No, I haven't.
So it's an amazing book, one of my favorites, but one of her chapters speaks really well to that point that nurses, and I think especially women in general, feel this sense of, if I'm succeeding in one area, I'm failing in another. And I very much, I had this conversation with my best friend even today. Like, if I'm giving all my time to my kids, I feel like I'm not spending time with my husband. Or if I'm spending time with my husband, I'm not with my kids. Or if I'm working, I'm not with any of them. If I take time for me, everything gets neglected. So that's really something that I've tried to focus on this year, is saying yes to them more, but also saying yes to myself more as a business owner.
I love that. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, what has changed about your life since you started your own business? How has your life changed, from being that mom trying to do homework over the phone in the break room, working in nursing, and everything that you've been through since your business started? What has changed for you in your life?
So my changes come, I like to say my husband would call delusions of grandeur, but I always have all these huge plans, like and change the world. And what I've really learned with owning my own business is that, I am changing the world, but little pieces at a time, so now the world changes in that I have the time to garden with my kids, to help them, watch things grow, or I have time to go prom dress shopping with my older girls, or I have time to go to every single sporting event, and I don't have to, who's covering my shift on the floor. There's a lot of stress that comes with owning your own business well, and the management of that. So I feel more than anything that I've learned who I am and how to manage my own anxiety about, do I have work coming in, and what do I need to do, and what's my next marketing step, and who's next on my team, and enough to hire another person. That's all things that can wear on you, but if you learn how to manage it, it becomes a lot more effective and fulfilling, I think.
I love that. So it sounds like you went from having that position in nursing, traditional nursing, bedside, where you had no control of what was going on in your world, right? You have this shift, this schedule, you accept it, you're on the phone parenting.
Right.
You went from that to saying, yes, I can create my own income. There are some things that I have to do to make that happen.
Yes.
You're in control of all of those things.
You are. Yes.
Right? So, and that in itself, I would think, gives you a lot of peace of mind, even though it's not without its challenges, right? I hear that. I love it. I love it. One compared to the other, working at a facility as doing traditional nursing, working for someone else, compared to owning your own business and doing what you're doing now, which would you choose?
Owning my own business, hands down. Yeah.
There you
hands
go.
Down.
For all of the aforementioned reasons, right?
Yes.
I
And
love
100
that.
more, but we'll need more than a half hour to get through all of those.
I love that. I love that. Um, Now, one of the things that I try to do is educate nurses about the importance of multiple income streams. I
Mhm.
just think it's so important. And I really believe our educational system in the United States sets us up for failure because we are trained from the time we are knee high that we're going to, if we're good kids, we're going to go to school, we're going to go to college, we'll learn a trade, and we will work in that trade for the rest of our days.
Yeah.
Right. And that model served us really well 100, 120 years ago. But today is so different, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing to create multiple income streams for yourself in your business?
Right. So we have, well, in completely separate from nursing, my husband runs his own marine repair business.
Love
So
it.
that has been our steady income, which I do all the books for and all of, parts
Okay.
ordering and all of that kind of stuff. But within legal nursing itself, there's very much the ebbs and flows. And I feel like COVID really took everybody for a loop. We weren't sure what was happening and the court shut down and we couldn't have our normal income stream. So
Mhm.
it's just so invaluable to have more than one, because if one area lags, your other area picks up, or you hope
Right.
that it works that way to have the stability. But that security of knowing that there is work, that you don't have to go out and find it. If there's an emergency, it's there for you. I can't tell you how much of a peace of mind tool that's going to be
Mhm.
when you own your own business. It's such
Yeah.
a necessity.
I totally agree with you there. And I think I was mentioning it on another interview that I did the other day, but I think the clearest sign that you have only one income stream, because sometimes it's hard for people who are not in business to wrap their mind around, what are you talking about, multiple income streams?
Right.
The clearest sign that you only have one income stream is that you're stuck in a job you hate and you feel like you can't leave
Yeah.
because you need the paycheck, right?
Yeah.
That's just, if
Very
you're in
true.
that kind of trap, that is a single income stream.
Yeah.
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 And it's,
You that you have to. I mean, even if you don't start your own business, have another income stream. Like,
yeah,
I feel
just
like it's such
whatever
good
it is.
advice. Like something, just have something.
Girl, I agree. I agree. All right. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, almost done. But there are so many entrepreneurs and emerging nurse entrepreneurs out there, Shauna, who say to themselves, I really wish I could start my own business. I really
Mhm.
wish I could do something for myself. I feel like I don't know how. I would probably need to go back to school. I don't even know where to start. What would you
Mhm.
say to a nurse in that position?
No, so many things, but I I think that the most important is you don't ignore your passion. Really, it's so important, because it's not just creating another multiple income stream or creating another business, but it's fulfilling a desire that's within you, that's going to give you a whole nother sense of resolution that you probably didn't even know you needed at this point in your life. And the longer you wait, if you think, oh, I'm just going to push it off for 3 years, well, in 3 years you're 3 years older and
Right.
you still haven't done it. And
Mhm.
that I'm so sorry, my phone is ringing.
Oh,
um, I can't reach it.
oh.
But but it's just like, do it now. You're not, nobody can change your life for you. You have to change your life. So is it
Mhm.
risky? Yes. But that reward can be so great. And if you fail, it's okay. Try again.
Mhm.
You learn things and you grow as a person. And that is almost more important than having the business itself, is learning about you.
Mm. I love, love, love that advice. And it's so true, and even if you fail, isn't it better to just know?
Yeah.
I would hate to come to the end of my life saying, I wish I had,
Yeah.
and so I'm with
Yeah.
you. I encourage everybody, just do it. You never know. Roll the
Yeah.
dice, but that's me.
Right. Very much
So,
me too.
all right. Well, I want to thank you again, Shauna, for spending some time with me today. And
Of
I want to
course.
give you these last few minutes to just share with our viewers a little bit more about your business any special offers or trainings that you have coming up that you might want them to know about, and even how to connect with you,
All
because
right.
there may very well be people who want to connect with you. So the floor is yours.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Well, again, just I hope that this has provided some valuable insight for some of you and has helped you just take that leap of faith into starting your own business. Teresa offers so many wonderful things on Facebook, but what we do is the Legal Nurse Network, helping transition nurses from bedside to the legal nurse consulting field. It is not a saturated field, but it is a very competitive field. So we very much take the no nonsense approach of, I'm going to tell you if you're doing things good with our training. I'm also going to tell you if you're doing things bad in your training. I just want to help you succeed and get your foot in the door. So we have classes up on legalnursenet.com that you can take right now. So be sure to check those out. We do monthly webinars just about topics that come up. March is about marketing. And I believe April is going to be about social media presence. But I'll have to check with my assistant about that. I probably just messed that up and she'll be mad. She gets mad at me a lot. We also have the Facebook group, Legal Nurse Net. It's a private group. You can join in there if you want to. You do not have to have a certification to be a legal nurse. You do not have to spend thousands of dollars to do it. We're all just trying to do the best we can with our education and not rewrite the book here. But there are some steps that you need to take to get through it. And that's where we want to help you. So be sure to follow us. If you get on the Facebook group, I respond to all personal messages. You can email me. I send out my phone number a lot, so you can text me. We just want to help.
Love it.
That's where we're at.
That is just fantastic. I love hearing all of this. And I think one of my personal platforms is nurses are already qualified to be entrepreneurs. They are trained.
Yes.
We're triage ninjas. We know how to prioritize. We are industrious. We're like MacGyver out there, can solve any problem with a straw. It's just, we know how to get things done, right? And so when nurses tell me I want to start a business and I'm going to go back for my master's or whatever, my biggest concern on that is just because I talk to so many nurse practitioners and higher degree level nurses who say, I don't even know why I did this because all it got me was more of the same. And now I have all of this debt. So higher education doesn't necessarily mean more happiness or better work environment, for nurses. It can sadly just mean a lot more stress and heartache. So I love that you mentioned that about, you don't need a certification, you don't need more education, you don't need to, all these things. You can do this. So that's fantastic.
Well, and honestly, having an MBA has been great for some of the legalities of it. But when I went to business school was, 20 years ago. So now we're in this digital age. That education doesn't serve me so well when I'm trying to figure out how to do a live on Facebook. So Teresa, you saved me.
Oh gosh, I just love that. I love that. Well, I obviously could chat with you forever and a day. I'm just having so much fun here, but we are going to end this now for our viewers. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. And again, thank you, Shanna Robert, for being here from the Legal Nurse Network. Just fantastic to get together with you. And I hope all of you will join me again next week for another episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.